My friend was like, you know what, like, we need to expose him. Like, that's some bullshit, you know, whatever. Long story short, and we knew what it was. Like, because me and her have been told our whole lives we look alike too, like similar. And so we knew what it was. The only difference was pounds, okay? You know, I'm bigger, I'm heavier. And yeah, long story short, so I ended up posting it, of course, and then he called me a B word and all that.
Oh, he actually reached out after your post?
He reposted. He was like, clownery, trying to get clout off of me, blah, blah, blah.
Who is this man that you're trying to get clout, that you're trying to get clout, and you're a paid plus size model, a legit signed, agency signed plus size model? You need clout from a promoter, a club promoter at that? There's a dime a dozen in LA for club promoters. Sir, you're not special.
And you're not special too, but you get this too. I'm at a point in my life, I get invited to stuff like this as a special guest. Like you said, you were there for, typically I don't do stuff like that unless it's through my agency. Yeah. So it was just ironic too. And then that's where I am cocky because I've worked hard for my career. I'm like, I could afford this whole section. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, but what pissed me off even more is, what if I couldn't afford this section too? It cost us like 60 or 70 to park. You know, I paid for it.
60 or 70 to park a car for this music festival?
For Rolling Loud.
That's wild.
Okay, I paid for that, you know. I got stuff to thank my friend, you know, like I spent, I ended up spending even money to get there because I wanted to actually have fun. I wanted to thank my friend for the opportunity, you know, like show her a good time. And like even that though, but I'm like, what if I didn't even have those resources? Like me, even a year or 2 years ago, didn't. So that would have hurt me. That $70 for parking for an opportunity would have really hurt me. And then it pissed me off too because luckily I can clap back. I know I can afford it. It's not that deep. But the fact is, like, how many other women did he turn down too?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like also, I'm sick of Black men saying they love Black women if you're willing to waste a Black woman's time. Like, it was nothing for him to originally say, like, nah, then my friend would have never even invited me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this all could have been avoided, but, like, he even went through and liked, like, my picture and stuff. So, like, how did we get from A to B?
He sounds disgusting.
How did we get from A to B? And then, like, some people are like, you're wilding, you're doing too much. And I'm like, no, you guys are, like, missing the point. If he had originally been like, you got another friend to bring, like, someone else, cool. My friend would have never told me. She would have never, like, we checked in. Like, this was a whole thing. Like,
you wasted your time.
Yeah, you literally wasted my time. And then he went on a rant saying, like, I love Black women. He, like, started uploading, like, that there were plus women in it. And I'm like, stop with the narrative that you love Black women.
But he didn't have enough tickets. That was his excuse. But he didn't have enough tickets. Better.
So next day, my friend, I'm like, we need to get him saying I was too big, though. Like, try. So she messaged him, and he was like, yeah, it just wasn't the right look. It wasn't the right look, but I'm sure you can bring another friend who's the right look. And then she was like, what's the right look? You know, we're trying to guess. But he was smart enough not to flat out say. So then he goes, someone who looks like you. But that's the gag too. Everyone says me and my friend look alike. The only difference is I'm taller than her. I got some gap teeth, and then I'm bigger. So I was like, maybe he could have said that too. He could have said, you know, we don't want girls with gaps, but you didn't. So yes, I'm gonna jump to the conclusion it was I'm big, and I know that's what it was, but yeah. Wow. And then apparently he like went on live. After I posted, I was kind of over it, you know, but he went on live and said he didn't let me in because of the way I was dressed. And then apparently he said like her friend knew how to dress, and the gag of that is he was like, the friend's like a designer too, and she designed my outfit. So like the whole cab, like it was such cab, like so annoying. I mean, I'm over it now, but I'm just like, I'm sick of it.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I saw that you like either talked to Bunny, who's the founder of Rolling Loud. Was that?
Oh, no. She's not the founder. It's just one of my friends. And then when she hit me up too, she's not even plus size, but she's a model in this industry. And she was just telling me like too, like, and it's even worse for darker skinned women, Mahala. Like imagine being dark skinned and plus. And I'm no dummy to like the privileges I have with being light skinned. And I thought about that too. And it actually put me in a whole nother mindset about what my heavier, darker skinned friends probably deal with on a regular. And then I'm even thinking about like, they probably never want to go out. Like I even have instances with friends now where I'm like, that's probably why they didn't want to go. Aww. You know what I mean? And it just like was full circle. And then of course, you know how the internet is, and I got dragged there. Like, you're trying to now talk for Black women. It was a whole thing. You don't even look Black.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know how that goes. You're just, and then someone was even like, you know, you're trying to like market off Black women. I'm like, okay, y'all. If that's what you got out of it, okay. Like,
one, you're a Black woman. I think that's really ignorant for them to say. Two, you're allowed to talk about your experience. You had a really bad experience. You're saying it. what's the problem?
And I'm speaking out. And then for me, I'm always going to speak out on colorism because not enough light-skinned women do it. So you can drag me for that, but I'm going to speak up on it because colorism is a huge problem within this community, and I know I have privileges from it. And when my darker friends speak out on it, they're angry Black women. So I'm going to be the light-skinned girl who has the privilege to speak up for darker-skinned women, period. Like, I'll take any backlash, period. Like, period.
Because there's certain things, and I'm like, I feel like my personality is more temperament. I'm a middle child, so like I have middle child energy, you know, like my temperament's more like, I guess, friendly and, you know, whatever. But like the way I see some of these girls get away with going off, I know if I even attempted or tried to get angry in public and go off, I would get like tased or some shit. You know what I mean? Like literally. It's ridiculous. It's
and I'm not
ridiculous.
Flexing my privilege, but I'm damn sure gonna use it to speak up for women that I fucking care about. Like I know as a lighter skinned woman, I am able to talk about it with less backlash than a darker skinned woman. So why the fuck wouldn't I? And that's another reason I like saying I'm mixed, because most mixed girls wouldn't do that, you know? And that was another thing too. I just grew, of course, like I said, my mom was mixed with Black and white, but all of her siblings married someone Black. So my cousins were 3/4 Black, technically. All of them are darker than me. Like I grew up with, I was the only one in my family who looked like how I looked, you know, popping out. And just, I'm like, some of these mixed girls like must not have Black cousins or something, because they're so disconnected from reality and colorism. I'm like, I actually have a Black cousin. I saw it firsthand from a young age, who was darker skinned, and the way she got treated, you know.
Yeah, like I said, even North Carolina, I could only imagine. Like, I grew up in the South, but it was Florida. It was like the North and South. Florida is very racist in my experience, but I can only imagine like the disconnect in the heavy South, like the Bible Belt South. The disconnect there is probably way worse in terms of that. And I just couldn't. I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
I could not
it was
imagine.
Horrible. And not for me. I mean, I probably had the best of it, you know, because I was still racially ambiguous enough to like be whatever someone wanted me to be. But like, I don't know, I have darker skinned friends, and I just know I witnessed what they went through all the time. Like,
so how did you end up in LA?
So I was a full-time painter for a few years, and I just wanted to get out of North Carolina. I always knew I was like liberal. I was so young. I didn't know I was liberal. I didn't call it that, but like I needed to be in a more liberal place. So less racist, less that. Yeah.
How long have you been in LA?
I moved to LA 2017, but my dad was military and eventually immigrated here. So I've kind of like grown up coming back and forth. Oh. So yeah.
So like, tell me, so you're, you know, a successful plus size model. You've been doing a bunch of campaigns I've been seeing. How did you become a model, and how did you get into this industry? Yeah, so I was, like I said, full-time painter. When I lived with my roommate, when I first moved out here, I grew up with her, and she was an amazing actress. So I kind of got exposed to like that. And then I had art shows. Like I was killing the art thing. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to paint, still all I want to do. But yeah, so I was kind of exposed, and I kind of liked it, but I was actually never the one who liked the spotlight. And it's funny now, because I remember when I moved to LA, I got, like, people had me model for stuff. So, like, I had modeling experience, but I didn't want to. They were just like, you're pretty, please. And I was like, okay, I'll help a small back business. You know, like, I wasn't getting paid, and I didn't like it. I never liked it. But then when my friend was an actress, she always needed, like, headshots and stuff. So then I bought a camera, and I kind of got into photography. I was like, I want to be a photographer. And then that kind of transitioned in me to, like, directing models, learning how to do that, you know, set design with my art, just kind of all that. Like, I've always been artistic. And then I got severe carpal tunnel and arthritis in my hand. And I mean, it got to the point like my hand felt like it was going to fall off if I painted. And I was just mass producing, not making enough. Like I was living in insanity, like a poor struggling artist, you know? And that was right when COVID hit too. So I was like, yo, I gotta like do something else. I was actually back in North Carolina with my ex, living there again. And I just like, I was so depressed, miserable. I couldn't do what I loved. I was like working in warehouses, like hustling. This is only like 3 years ago. It's crazy how quickly life can change. So either way, I remember I was in those warehouses and I was like, I gotta do something else. Like, I can't do it. Not that there's anything wrong. Shit, that paid the bills, you know? But like, for me, I was just like, what is life? I didn't have education. Like, what can I do that I'll enjoy? And then I was like, what do you know about modeling? I kid you not. One day I was like, what about modeling? Like, you're tall. I was like, plus size modeling is in. You're plus size now. You know, like, what? Like, you're tall, Holla. Like, you can't like, so I did some research, I kid you not, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I didn't know how. My goal was just to be signed with boutique agencies and like make enough to like
start a small business doing something else, you know, just like a little model. But luckily North Carolina ironically has like a powerhouse mother agency. And
Really?
yeah, so I did research and I was like, I have to sign with them. Like, and once again, my goal wasn't even, I never thought I could sign with the agencies I'm signed with now. That was never even my goal. I thought that was so not gonna happen, you know, but I signed with them and I told them, I was like, I want to be a supermodel. And I was kind of like even joking, honestly, when I said it, like to an extent, like, yeah, I want to be a model, but like, and then they were like, okay, like, and I was like, okay. And then I connected with the agent. I was like, and then I started realizing like, wait, this can happen. You know, I started working for their little clients and I was like, no, I really want to be a supermodel. I was like, I'm going to learn to be a supermodel. And within 6 months of being signed, I signed with IMG Worldwide. So I was with them. Yeah.
No freaking way.
Within 6 months.
How did you get on IMG's radar? How did that happen?
Yeah.
They're the biggest agency in the world.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds so corny, and I hate when I give corny advice because it sounds so generic.
But if it's meant to be, then it'll be a love song.